Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Father. My name is Nick Roper. I'm on the pastoral council here. And last Thursday we had a meeting. I was fortunate enough that my brother-in-law wasn't able to attend. So I was kindly asked to do this in front of all you today. But I am thankful. I have a testimony I would like to share on my own behalf. But before I do that, I want to kind of throw some numbers out at you guys. First, I'd like to thank everyone who's contributed for their contribution to the CSA this year. We will exceed our goal, assuming everyone fulfills their pledge. We will exceed our goal by $29,000, which is huge for us. And that money will be returned to our parish, and then we can use it on this large project, the roof. Now, of the 525 families in our parish, this money has come from only 177 families, which means that approximately $280 per family has been given on the average, and that's tremendous for this type of community. That being said, there's 348 families that still have not made a pledge or a commitment, and I would strongly encourage you to. If each of the families can just donate $100 per family, that will increase our contribution another $34,800. And if each family can only contribute $50, we'll cut that number in half, and that'll get us down to $17,400, which would still help immensely. So the roof project that's going on right now has cost us $350,000 approximately. There's been a lot of extras, a lot of damage has been done, and the amount of money that we can contribute to this will help fund that greatly. We couldn't wait another year to get this one going. In the past 5 years, we've done almost $1 million in repairs to this parish, which is huge. And in that time that's been done by the generosity of the members of this church, we haven't had to have a capital campaign, we haven't had to borrow any money from the diocese. Unfortunately, this year, because of everything we've done leading up to this year, we had to for the roof, and we're going to have to take out a loan for about $100,000. So anything you guys can do to help facilitate that, to shorten that gap with the CSA contribution would be greatly appreciated. I look around this room, and I see my family, I see my friends, I see mentors, I see students that I have now, I see students that I've had in the past. I love a lot of people in this room. And this is my family, this is my home, and it's your guys' home too. And I just ask that we do what we can to make it our responsibility to help this parish, and anything you can give, whether it be $100, whether it be $50, whether it be $10, whatever you can give, I would greatly appreciate. And now, about my story in the CSA. About 2.5 years ago, I lost my job. At that point, I'd been an electrician for 14.5 years. I never had to collect unemployment. I was doing pretty well for myself. God had blessed me greatly. And after that, I had 5 months where I had no work. I had 5 one-day short calls. So I basically exhausted my savings account. Everything was gone. I began at that point to be a little bit depressed. I started to suffer from anxiety. I questioned who I was as a man. I questioned who I was as a father. I questioned who I was as a husband. And in that year, I honestly didn't think I had the money to make a CSA contribution. I still gave to the parish, but I knew if I gave a CSA contribution, I'd have to start giving less on the weekly masses, and I didn't want to do that. So unfortunately, I couldn't afford to give to the CSA. Now the following year, Father Kime had come up here, and he was giving a talk about the CSA and the necessity of it, and I was sitting down there, over there by my children, and he told a story, and I'm sure I'll butcher some of it, but it was about a couple whose car had just broke down. Their car basically was non-functional, and they had the decision to either take the money to make the necessary repairs to the car so the man could get back and forth to work and take care of his family, or to give to the CSA and let God take care of it. Through prayer, they decided to give to the CSA, and as is the case with God, He provided for them greatly. Either the man got a bonus at work or got a raise or a promotion, but he was able to, after giving to the church, God gave back to him, and he was able to get his car fixed. And that ship had been righted. Well, sitting down here and listening to that story, I have a little bit of a skeptical nature, so without seeing it firsthand, I didn't really know what to believe or what to think of it. But at that point, I decided, you know what, God's been great to me. I'd been back to work for a year. I can afford to give $100 a month to the CSA, so that was my pledge. I was going to give $1,200 for that year. The only thing I didn't decide is if I was going to write one big check and kind of hurt myself for a couple weeks, or if I was going to donate $100 a month for that year, which we do allow a plan. And a couple days later, I stumbled upon something which I brought to show you guys today. It's this. This is a 1929 Andrew Jackson dollar bill. Now the serial number on this bill is A000004, which means it was the fourth one printed that year. Now in 1929 there were two groups of prints. There was the Federal Reserve, which we have today, and there was the First National Bank and Trust Company of Bay Shore. Bay Shore is Long Island, and depending on where your money's minted, it depends on the value of this. When I found this bill, I called the collector online, and he offered me $1,250 over the phone as soon as I sent him this picture. So I thought, well, God just gave me my CSA gift. And thankfully, He's provided for me from that point on still, and I haven't had to sell this to pay for that. So I just wrote the church a single check, and I still have this to show and share. And I hope that one of these days I can pass this on to my daughters. So I was very thankful for that. And that was a personal experience that God gave to me in my doubt that I had just had a couple weeks before. So in closing, I would just like to give everyone here a little bit of perspective as to how we can maybe change or save or sacrifice for our Lord. And giving should be a sacrifice. After I had bought my new house 2 months later is when I lost my job. That's how my savings account sunk. I had 2 mortgages. I had a lot of stuff to deal with. And there was no way that I could justify having cable television in my new house and waste $100 a month when I didn't have any money coming in. And in 2.5 years, I'm thankful that I did that, and I've never had it, and I never will again. I'm not going to pay for cable ever, hopefully. That's $100 a month. And if everyone can hold their laughter, this is my phone. It's the iFlip 2. Okay, it's vintage. And with this, me and my wife both have them, and our cell phone bill after taxes is like $56 a month. So some people have a $200 cell phone bill if they have a family. So if we can afford that, then we can afford to give. But I don't think that anyone in this room would raise their hand and say that they love Verizon or Sprint more than they do God. So if that's the case, then we shouldn't be giving more to those companies than we do for our Lord and for our church. So our deacon Nate was kind enough to not ask for money today. And I don't know if that's because he knew I would or what, but thank you, deacon. At the end of the pews, as was brought up earlier, we have CSA envelopes. And if you haven't given yet, I strongly encourage you to, and our church will be grateful for it. And if you have, thank you again. We appreciate it and we need it. And just know that there's no way that we're going to outgive God. So keep that in mind when we make our sacrifices. Thank you all, and God bless.
Thank you.